We are following breaking news out of San Francisco. 49ers rookie receiver Ricky Pearsall is in the hospital after being shot during an attempted robbery right there in Union Square. In the last 30 minutes, we got an update from police, from the mayor, from the district attorney. The suspect, who's also shot, is a 17-year-old from Tracy. That suspect also in the hospital.
Hello, family. Welcome back to another episode of Journey to Harmony. I'm your host, Richard Harmon. Today, I want to come to you and talk to you about 49ers rookie wide receiver, Ricky Pearsall. Ricky Pearsall was walking in downtown San Francisco, I believe just yesterday, and he was actually shot, unfortunately, in the chest by a 17-year-old. This is a sad story, as he is, again, a rookie with the San Francisco 49ers, recently joined the team, has reached all of his dreams and his opportunities. And again, in a city that is not taking violence seriously, we're seeing the result of it on a national scale. What exactly is this going to mean? Again, this is getting national story because he is a player who is on the team overall, and that's become a bit of a shock. But reality is something that we as citizens are facing on a pretty consistent basis. The lack of discipline, the lack of opportunity for policing in these cities, and has made these areas like San Francisco, like Chicago, like New York, borderline war zones. I'm going to play a video, watch a little bit of this, come back and talk about it. If it's your first time joining, please hit that like button. Consider subscribing to the channel. And here we go.
Near Union Square, we're on Geary, just off of Grant, and this is where San Francisco police say that San Francisco 49ers wide receiver Ricky Pearsall was the victim of both an attempted robbery and a shooting earlier today. The team issuing a statement this evening saying that he is in stable but serious condition. And we want to give you a look at what this scene here looked like just this afternoon. There were evidence markers all along the sidewalk with clothing and a shoe and a hat on the ground. There was blood here on the sidewalk as well. That blood has since been cleaned up. Police say they got a call at around 3:30 about a reported shooting, and when they arrived, they found two men here injured. Those men were taken to the hospital. Now, after investigating, police learned that one of those people was Pearsall and that the other was a person who'd attempted to rob him. Now, to say,
he was walking alone when a suspect approached him and attempted to commit an armed robbery using a gun. A struggle between Mr. Pearsall and the suspect ensued, and the suspect's gunfire from the suspect's gun struck both Mr. Pearsall and the subject. Thankfully, Mr. Pearsall is in stable condition.
All right, perfect. So there it is again. That's the story that we heard there. We heard the police chief talk about it. You heard, some of the people around talk about it. This is a wild story for the most part, as we're seeing many of the crime that has been happening, like in Denver and things like that. It is something that's happened to everyday citizens that has not really gotten too much national news. But these last few incidents are becoming wider spread. The video of the home invasion by the Venezuelan gang here with this particular player being shot. Many people are not going into law enforcement. Any person who, for the most part, if you're a cop and you get into an altercation with a criminal, a lot of times you're going to be the one that is prosecuted, if not placed in a position where you are put in jail. And many people who are looking for careers, even though they're paying $35 or $40 an hour, many of these police areas or police stations, people are looking at that and saying, you know what, I'll pass. Whether it's you being, in a situation where you're dealing with people who are criminals, or the respect that once was is no longer there. And many people are just looking at it and it's like, that's not something that you're really willing to risk your life over. For the most part, there's been a lot of stories that if your car is stolen, if you have something that is not a violent offense, police just aren't showing up for the most part. So things are just in an out of control stance right now, and it's again a lot of the policies that have been put in place. You have no bail, no cash bail options, where people are you commit a crime, you basically released the next day for the most part, and almost regardless of whatever it is the crime is that you committed. We've seen that with many of the migrants who in Chicago and New York. We're seeing that with violent offenders. People who have 10, 15 different felonies are being released just because of the idea of fairness and things of that nature. So we as citizens, as we are given our Second Amendment right to go ahead and carry, if you go ahead and you defend yourself, you're going to be prosecuted harder and higher than the person who is actually breaking into your home or the person who is attempting to do something violent to you. Things have gotten backwards here in this particular state, and this particular player, Ricky Pearsall, again, is just an example of how far crime has come. Many times this would have been something where it's happened at nighttime. You'd read the story, you'd ask, why is the player outside? But it's actually happened at 3:30 in the afternoon. So in broad daylight, a young man pulls up and he feels it's okay. You know, he's not as concerned with the consequences. So he goes ahead and he ends up attacking this person. The player himself is in the hospital in critical condition. The assailant also was shot in the process by the gun. So this is a wild story that we're seeing right now. But again, it's something that we're seeing on a larger scale as our nation is trying to balance itself. Crime is just getting out of control. We've seen over the last few years of people going in the stores and basically just robbing, carrying a trash bag and then walking through and taking whatever they want. As you don't punish people for these crimes, eventually those things, you give someone an inch, they'll take a mile. And that's what we're seeing right now. So what are your thoughts on this particular story? Do you think this is something that we're going to see more of, we're going to see less of? This is something that, again, that is being promoted in a lot of these areas. And my expectation is that people are going to begin to leave these inner cities at a higher clip and again move to the suburban areas. So while we're thinking that there is a housing crash that is coming, I believe that the areas where people want to move to, which again are not going to generally be inner cities, are going to feel a lot of pressure as you have most of these inner cities have 1 million, 2 million, 5 million people in these cities. If you have 50,000 people move out of one area, move into a locale that's built to handle, 50,000 people that are built to handle 100,000. That's a huge increase in that population, and that's going to put a lot of pressure on the cost of living there. So, what are your thoughts? Please comment below, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining. Have a good day.